Have you ever noticed that everybody seems to have a different explanation why you're not healthy? Your trainer says you need to exercise more. The nutrition expert says it's definitely your diet. Someone on Instagram tells you, have you looked at your cortisol lately? Another says it's totally inflammation. Someone else says it's got to be your gut. Your doctor says, well, looks like everything's okay. Then somebody else says your hormones are completely out of balance. And eventually you're sitting there thinking, who am I supposed to believe? And here's the surprising answer: pieces of them may all be right. And that's exactly the problem. Imagine you're standing in a dark warehouse. 5 people each hold a flashlight. One points it at the floor. One points it at the ceiling. One points it at the exit. One points it in the machine in the corner. And another person points at something directly behind you. Now, they're all describing what they can see in that room. So nobody's necessarily lying. And nobody necessarily lacks expertise. They just aren't working together to illuminate the whole room. That's how modern health information often works. A dietitian sees nutrition. A trainer sees movement. A psychologist sees your behavior. An endocrinologist sees hormones, metabolism. A cardiologist sees your heart health and your heart risks. A sleep specialist sees sleep. Each discipline has a tremendous value. But you live inside one body. Your body doesn't divide itself into departments. That's the gray zone. The gray zone often isn't nobody knows anything. It's lots of people know something, but I don't know how their answers all fit together. That distinction matters. Let's take an example like weight. Why can't someone lose weight? Could nutrition matter? Absolutely. Could sleep matter? Yes. Could activity? Yes. Could medications? Absolutely. Could your mental health? Unfortunately, yes. Could your environment? Yes. Could metabolic disease? Again, yes. Could hormones play a role in some people? Notice I said some people. And the answer is yes. Could their entire strategy simply be unsustainable? Yeah, it absolutely could be. So when somebody tells you, I know exactly why people can't lose weight, I would get cautious, because we're taking a multi-dimensional problem and pretending it's one dimension. That's gray zone thinking. And that's why when we cover weight loss and weight in the Prime method, I'm interested in helping people see how all these domains interact with each other rather than just simply telling everyone, follow this one diet. Another example, fatigue. So you're exhausted. One person says, you need B12. Another person says, you probably need iron. That's what I needed. Somebody else says, oh, I tried testosterone. You need testosterone. Then somebody else is probably a thyroid. Then someone else is probably sleep apnea. Then your friend says, maybe it's your depression. Then someone else says, you're probably overtraining. That's why you're so tired. Somebody on social media says, your adrenal glands are exhausted. What? So now what? The right question isn't which influencer wins. The question becomes, what are the likely possibilities? Which one fits your history? What basic things should be assessed first? What symptoms would push us toward one explanation over another? Where does testing actually make sense? When do we escalate it? That framework changes everything. Your doctor is an incredible resource, but healthcare is divided into specialties because medicine is enormous, and your visits are short and getting shorter, depending on your healthcare system. Your doctor might identify one critical part of that puzzle, but you still live the other 167 hours that week outside the doctor's office. That's why I believe health education matters so much. It's also why the Prime method isn't designed to replace someone's doctor. It's actually quite the opposite. I want someone to walk into their physician's office better prepared, understanding their own questions, understanding what they've tried, recognizing which information matters. Being able to say, this, and this don't apply to me, but I'm concerned about these three things because X, Y, and Z. Now you will have better conversations with that person who is trying to take care of you. So why doesn't AI completely solve the fragmentation? AI may become incredibly good at helping synthesize different areas, and that's exciting. But there's still a major limitation. If the information going in is incomplete, wrong, or misunderstood, then the output can be misleading or wrong. I'm sure you've all tried this before, and you've all been amazed at the answer you did get or grateful for the answer you got. Also, AI can't physically examine you. It can't independently verify every piece of your story. It also doesn't remove the need for clinical judgment when the stakes are high. So AI may become one of our best tools for navigating this gray zone, but it does not eliminate the gray zone. That's something I spend time talking about in the PRIME method, because I think knowing how to use AI responsibly is becoming part of health literacy. So the better question is, who sees the whole person? Instead of constantly asking who has the answer, maybe we need to ask, how do these answers all fit together? That's the skill I think most people are missing. You don't need to become an expert in nutrition and cardiology and endocrinology, psychology, and exercise physiology. But you do need enough understanding to recognize when you're looking at one piece of a much bigger problem. This is actually one of the reasons urgent care has taught me so much about the gray zone. Urgent care providers specialize in that gray zone. People don't just walk into the doctor's office organized into specialties. They walk in saying, I don't feel right, or I've been coughing, or oh my goodness, I'm so dizzy, or my child has a fever. What do I do? So my job is to start putting these pieces together. What's likely? What's unlikely? What's dangerous about the situation? What can wait? What needs testing? What needs treatment? What changes the plan? Is there another specialist that may need to be involved that this person needs to see now, such as an orthopedic surgeon, a gastroenterologist, ear, nose, and throat, allergy, or should they be sent to the ER? That's the work I do every day. And that way of thinking is one of the things I've brought into the PRIME method. The original course framework captures those same real-world questions. Serious versus benign. Viral versus bacterial. Medication versus waiting. What to monitor and what to do next. So, the next time two health experts seem to disagree, don't immediately assume one must be a genius and the other's an idiot. You should ask the question, are they actually answering the same question? Are they looking at the same piece of the problem? What might be missing from both answers? That's a much more useful way to think. Because sometimes the gray zone isn't created by a lack of answers. It's created because you have too many incomplete answers. And learning how to connect those answers is a major part of what I teach inside the PRIME method. Join me today, and I hope to see you soon.